I think stuff-wise, it was pretty similar to other outings. It took me a little while to get a feel for off-speed stuff, and dropping it in wasn't as easy dropping a curveball in. But towards the end of the outing, I think I sort of got a feel for that, and everything else kind of came with it. And it did make it easier. Some great plays behind me, and just kind of being able to fill up the zone and trust those guys.
Chris Lee.
Yeah, Jack, can you talk about just the difficulty of pitching to them between the power they've got in their lineup, their patience, and just the fact that they fouled off so many balls all night?
Yeah, that's a really good lineup. There's really no breaks there, 1 to 9, and they're all really competitive outs, competitive at bats, and there were some tough at bats that were really long, particularly that one. I don't know how many pitches it was, maybe 10, and I felt like he was fouling off some pretty good pitches. So definitely a competitive lineup.
Joe Rexrode.
Yeah, Jack, obviously there's been so much attention on you and Kumar this year, and that's going to be the case going forward. With you guys both performing like this these last 2 nights, how does that feel for you two, and how do you think that affects the team?
I think it's more about the team there. The fact that we got 2 wins last week, obviously at the SEC tournament. Both of our outings ended in losses, so it's good to get back on track and kind of in the right column. And I don't really think that all the attention is necessarily deserved to be directed at just us two, because obviously this is an insanely talented team, and there are other good pitchers, really good pitchers on our staff, and I think that's pretty clear.
Portland.
Cortland Griffin with a three-point conversion. Jake, your teammate and bullpen buddy Kumar had a really good outing yesterday, and then you follow up behind him with another good outing. Is there any internal competition between you two guys?
I don't think so. I think if anything, it's a friendly competition. We both want to be good, but for the most part, it's always a competition with yourself. You want to just continue to pitch as well as you possibly can and go deep into games and give your team a chance.
Thank you.
Aria.
Defensively, what did you see kind of being the difference between the two teams, and how did you see Vanderbilt, your team, able to take advantage of Georgia Tech's mistakes?
I think that's important, taking advantage of mistakes in the field, which we were able to do tonight. And I don't know necessarily, like, as a team defensively, if there's many differences. They very well could have just had an off night, but I do believe that could be a good defense on that side. But I do think that's important, taking advantage of mistakes and making less mistakes, obviously, than the other team.
Burke.
Hey, Jack. After you gave up the home run in the third, the defense made a couple really nice plays behind you to get you out of the inning. What does that do for your confidence on the mound when you can trust that defense to make the plays?
Yeah, it's huge for confidence when the defense makes one great play, but back to back is something special. And it's more just thankful that they were able to make a great play that they weren't necessarily supposed to make. And it all goes back to keeping that pitch count lower and being able to take it a little bit deeper into the game than you would have if the ball dropped. So I think those plays were huge and potential game changers in this game.
Chad Bishop.
Jack, I know this is your MO to go pitch by pitch, but how were you able to do that tonight after that home run, and it was kind of a jarring point of the game?
Well, I felt like the home run kind of, it was sort of supposed to happen the way it unfolded, because I got behind, tried to throw off speed to a really good fastball hitter, and it was a 3-1 count, and kind of just grooved it in there a little bit. So in batting practice, guys pop up, so I was kind of hoping for that type of outcome, but made a pretty very hittable pitch, and he hit it hard and hit it far. So I think it was easy to rebound from, because it wasn't necessarily a good pitch or a good count to be in.
Gayla Anderson.
Hey, Jack, those defensive plays from you guys, you also had a good one. I think the ball took off your glove and barehanded it to Cliff. Can you just kind of take us through that play? Your mom showed a picture of your mom in the crowd. She had the greatest face.
Yeah, I mean, plays like that are just sort of reaction time, and I mean, my glove was in the right spot. It hit the top of it, so the glove popped off, and then obviously it's a scramble to get to the ball and make the out as quick as possible because, again, limiting base runners and same stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think if anything, that was just more of a lucky play than a good one.
We'll open up questions for Coach. If you have a question for Coach, please utilize the raise your hand feature. Joe Rexroad, we'll start with you.
Yeah, Tim, I know you mentioned Jack's performance, but just a little bit more on that. What did you think about just how he handled the moment and seemed to embrace it out there tonight?
Well, he's continually done that. I think he's got a good proving ground throughout the year. He's had some very tough pitched games in the SEC, so I felt like he'd do the same thing here. You're always going to get compete from him, and anytime you get compete with a kid that wants to win, then he gives your ball club a chance. And he did that in the game that he pitched in the SEC. He's done it all year. He certainly left his team in a great position.
Robbie.
Hey, Tim, you guys only had 3 hits tonight and still were able, obviously, to win. Like, how important is it to be able to scrape out, a victory against a really good team in terms of getting a win like that and postseason under your belt for an inexperienced team?
We won. That's the bottom line. Doesn't matter. We won. We hit some balls hard that got caught with guys on base. Carter drove a ball to the fence. That kid made a hell of a play in right field. Gonzo drove a ball to the fence. Waddell played some very good shortstop defense too. They turned 2 double plays in the first and second. So, it's just one of those games. But it doesn't matter. We did what we needed to do defensively and pitching wise to put ourselves in position to get a positive outcome. And that's all that matters.
Chris Lee.
Yeah, Tim, give us an update on Tate's health, and also what went into the decision to go with Hobby there in left, where I don't know that he's played there much this year.
He's played there a lot, actually, in training. So he's had plenty of experience out there, and we recognize that he can play defense, and he's kind of a gamer. Going back to your question with Tate, it's bruised, and it's going to take some time. He wanted to play, but he couldn't really grip the bat in the way that he needed to in order to hit. But he was taking his ground balls, and he's certainly ready to go. So we'll see how he feels tomorrow.
Aria.
Defensively, obviously, you guys made some good plays, and meanwhile, Georgia Tech had a lot of errors. So, what did you see being the difference defensively, and how are you guys able to take advantage of Georgia Tech's mistakes?
Well, when they threw the ball away, we just ran and touched the bases and make sure we got to home plate. I mean, it's as simple as that. I don't know what to tell you. We just did what we needed to do to get on base, force some pressure. Javi's ball took Waddell wide to his right. Wasn't an easy play. Had to throw the ball quickly, and that's what happens sometimes. But that's why it's baseball. I mean, we're playing an amateur game with a bunch of kids who play hard, but at the same time, they're not perfect. But we did what we needed to do.
Kayla Anderson.
Hey, Coach, late start time tomorrow, 8 p.m. Central. What do you just do to keep these guys focused? I mean, that's a lengthy period of time.
I mean, they can sleep in tomorrow. I'm sure they'll hang out with one another tonight and get something to eat over in the facility. And they know. I mean, we've played late games before. ESPN, SEC Network puts us late several times during the course of the year. So gives us an opportunity to rest, gives us an opportunity to really focus in on the game that's played in front of us to see who we're going to play. And then after that, we just need to get in game rhythm. As the team that we'll be playing will already be in that mode. So we got to continually try to play better.
Russell Johnson.
Yeah, what was your approach going into the game with Marquise Grissom Jr. and how do you feel that was executed?
I just based on the way Mike and David set the hitters up, we knew that he had a boring fastball that moved a lot. He's got a good breaking ball. He also throws a changeup to righties and lefties. We talked about using the middle of the field. He executed better than our hitters. You got to give that kid credit. He's pitched well down the stretch here for a freshman. I thought he had very good poise. I thought he created some mistakes for himself, but he pitched out of them. And I think you just got to give that kid the credit that he deserves. He got some big strikeouts. He had us offering out in front of the plate. And, he did what he needed to do, as did Smith. I mean, Smith, the lefty, I thought he changed speeds really well. He was difficult. He was a pain in the ass. But, it's just one of those things where they pitch well.
Austin Wright.
Hey, Coach, what's going to be the way in which you guys game plan for a team in which you will not have quite as much time as you might normally to prepare for?
You just got to do it on the run. We've done it before. I mean, it's one of those situations where you're thankful you're in a third game. You're thankful that you've won 2, and you just have an opportunity to sit back and watch. Now, you're not going to know who the pitcher is, but it doesn't matter. That's when it becomes a little bit like Sandlot, where you can jump into the game, and sometimes that works well. You know that both teams are going to have to use some pitching prior to you. They've got at a minimum 9 innings and 27 outs. So, we just wait and see.
We've got time for one more question for Coach. Robbie, bring us home.
Tim, just 2 quick ones for Tate. Is it a hand or a wrist? And then who starts for you tomorrow?
It is. It's actually top of the hand. It's bruised, so it's not the wrist. Tomorrow, I don't know yet. We'll probably have something either late tonight or tomorrow morning.
I think that's all the time